Hey, I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Chris.
This is Mike and Chris Reloaded.
This week we're going to talk about something special that happened last week.
It was special.
The NFL draft. Oh wait, no, never mind.
It was special. It was very special. It's more special than the NFL draft.
It was very much more special.
Which I'm surprised this did as well as it did going up against the NFL draft.
I know you had mentioned something to me, but I wasn't. Really
It did 35 million over the weekend. It wasn't stellar, but it was top 5 opening weekend movie. So, but we're going to talk about Marvel Infinity War.
Yep, Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
Just a forewarning though, if you're listening to this and you have not seen the movie, there will be lots of spoilers in this podcast. You are warned. This is your one and only warning. Unless Mike wants to give another warning.
Yeah, be warned. There, I gave a warning.
That's
be warned.
2 warnings. Two warnings you guys had.
Do not proceed with this podcast if you have yet to see this and don't want to be spoiled.
Exactly.
Warning, Grace Adler.
Avengers Infinity War opened up April 27th, directed by the Russo brothers. Let's just talk a few numbers real quick. You want to?
Yeah, let's talk numbers.
It beat Star Wars Force Awakens domestically for the largest opening on a weekend. The original record was held by Star Wars Force Awakens for $246 million on opening weekend. Avengers did $258 million. Domestically. Ooh. That's not worldwide. It's just domestically. Worldwide, on the other hand, the record was held by Fast and Furious 8, whichever one, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
All over again. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it was
the
held
one
by
with
them.
Rock.
Yeah, it was held by them at 539 million globally on opening weekend. It shattered that record by 100 million.
Holy buckets.
$640 million is what Avengers Infinity War brought in globally.
This was a great movie. I had a bad experience at the movie theater, though.
Did you?
Yeah, it was terrible. I used Dealflix to get my movie and popcorn.
Yeah.
And I got there, and they all sold out of medium popcorn bags. So they said that their fix was to give 2 smalls for every medium. Now, I had 4 people. That's 8 bags of popcorn I had to carry. I said, what about giving me just 2 larges? And they're like, no, we can't do that because of refill. Why don't you just put no refill on the bottom? We can't do that. They're refillable. So I spilt half the popcorn everywhere, trying to carry 8 popcorn bags to the movie theater with drinks and nachos.
Oh, man.
And then my daughter wanted to go see A Quiet Place,
mm-hmm.
and it was in Theater 4, they told her.
Yeah.
They said Theater 4, so they went over to Theater 4, and they walked in on the ending of The Quiet Place. So they saw the ending before they saw the beginning.
Oh, man.
So that movie was spoiled, so they went and sat in the car.
That sucks.
Yeah. Mad. Anger at that movie theater. Anger, I tell you.
That's pretty horrible.
But, yeah.
I didn't have that bad of an experience. I saw it in Destin and IMAX AMC.
Yeah, I know you did. I would have liked to have seen it in IMAX.
It's good. The sound was really good. The picture was really good.
That's awesome.
But
back to Marvel.
Back to this. Yeah, the movie cost roughly about $300 million to produce, so they done cleared that.
Right.
And the question is not if, the fact when it's going to reach the $1 billion mark. It could be one of the fastest movies ever to reach $1 billion. So
yeah, the movie's good. So I mean,
it's really good. So with that being said, let's just kind of jump right into it, and I will try to separate movie and comic book for you as much as I can.
I don't know much about the comic book. In the comic book, I know everybody dies. Half the people die.
Half the universe dies.
Yeah, half the universe dies.
Here's the thing about a villain. You can have a villain who's just bent on just destroying people, just to destroy people or whatever. And that's just an evil, hateful villain. Right?
And this villain thinks he's doing good.
Yeah, that's the true villain, is a person who can come in and think they're doing something for the benefit of mankind. Or human, or just
world kind.
Yeah, any kind.
Because
universal kind.
Because the story was told on Thanos' planet that he tried to warn everybody that he had to do a culling which I'm gonna call culling, like
or genocide.
genocide, yeah, of the population, and they refused to listen to him, and his population went extinct. So
Yeah,
he's thinking he's saving the world in what he's
he's
doing.
saving the universe.
Universe, yeah, universe.
And they even talked about how he went from planet to planet, destroying half the population of each planet, so the planets will prosper. And he took it upon himself basically to sit there and say, "Hey, this is my job. I'm here to fix everything. Starting because my planet didn't do it, I'm gonna do everyone else's planets."
Yeah,
Which how he met Gamora.
yeah, stole her from.
He
Well, her parent, he killed her parents, I'd
yeah
assume. It didn't
had
say for sure, but
they even give reference to on Gamora's planet. She's like, "Oh, we were happy. Why did you do that?" And he goes, "You were starving. Everyone was starving on that planet." He goes, "I fixed that." He goes, "Now everyone has a full belly, enough to feed 20 mouthfuls at a time, and they're prospering and bountiful of food on that planet." He goes, "But she said, well, because you wiped out half the population."
yeah,
He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's something that had to be done." He's basically trying to find balance in the universe, and he's thinking that he can do it by just wiping out.
he's batshit crazy,
Yeah, pretty much so.
pretty much.
I guess that's the true definition of a megalomaniac. He's someone who thinks they're doing good for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
So, but of course, this is Thanos' quest on trying to find the gauntlet, the stones. He already has the gauntlet. He's trying to find the stones to fill the gauntlet.
yeah. Which they touched base. They had the I don't know what the
There's
what
6 stones. There's the
tyrant, the Tyrant Lannister or whatever his name. What is his name? Tywin
Peter
Lannister.
Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage.
Yeah,
He plays a giant,
a giant dwarf.
a
Yeah,
giant dwarf who makes mystical weapons. Who made the Infinity Gauntlet for
yeah.
Thanos?
It's basically a gauntlet that can harness all the powers of the gems at
Yeah,
once.
which nobody has ever successfully done. I think they said in the movie that the most that somebody's been able to harness is two.
Yes,
Two.
before driving them insane.
Yes.
Um, but the thing about Thanos is, hey, he's already insane,
Yeah, and he's a Titan.
and he's a Titan, so he can actually handle the ability, the power. But I guess when we first see him, Thanos already has um, the Power Stone and he gets the Soul Stone.
He gets the Soul Gem, yeah. Soul
Which,
Stone.
if you watch the movie, it takes place immediately after Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
When they're on the ship. If anyone hadn't seen Thor Ragnarok yet, again, spoiler, um, they get away from Asgard and all the Asgardians and everyone are on the ship and they're trying to flee after Asgard's been destroyed. And that's when Thanos, if you ever watch the end credit to Ragnarok, it shows his ship show up right at the end.
Yes.
And this takes place immediately right after Thor Ragnarok, to where Thor's sending out a distress signal,
and Thanos kills everybody on the ship.
Loki, except the Hulk. Hulk didn't.
Yeah, Hulk got the Asgardian guard or whatever his name is.
Heimdall.
Yeah, whatever. He sends Hulk back to Earth.
Yeah, Heimdall teleported Hulk back to Earth, I guess, as a warning to try and warn people, because he knew there was other powerful beings there on Earth.
Right.
So, which is funny. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie, from the movie to the comic book, like the scene where you show Hulk coming back in, teleporting back in looks like a fireball.
Yeah.
And then he lands in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In the original comic books, it was the Silver Surfer that actually landed in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh, really?
So he crash landed just exactly like that, but it was the Silver Surfer, and then he said the same thing. Thanos is coming, But
But they don't have a Silver Surfer in the Marvel universe.
They do not.
No, so
they do not. So it was the Hulk's job, or
yeah.
Bruce Banner, by the way.
Bruce Banner.
Um,
Because the Hulk didn't want to come out and play.
yeah. Apparently, the Hulk got a little frightened when Thanos, I guess, for lack of a better
Kicked his
phrase,
ass.
bitch smacked him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's another little, I guess, a little way they changed the storyline a little bit. By this time, Thanos has 2 of the gems. He knows there's 2 more on Earth. He's out going after a third one, and then there's one more left, which is the Soul Stone. The ones on Earth are the
Time and
Time Stone and the
whatever Vision has.
the Mind Gem.
Mind Gem. Okay.
But the Time Stone, obviously, if you've ever seen Doctor Strange, it's in his amulet,
chest. Yeah.
the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah.
That's an amulet.
Or was it? Because it wasn't there. It was magically in another place, according to Doctor Strange.
It was, which I thought was really good. How Doctor Strange was, he gets kidnapped when they first show up. When Banner shows up, and then Doctor Strange gets kidnapped by the guy, take him out in space, trying to get the gem to Thanos, and then but you get Iron Man and Spider Man still away on there. So now they're heading to Titan basically to fight him.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back at Thor, his whole ship gets destroyed.
And he's floating through space.
He's floating in space, but then the Guardians of the Galaxy meet him.
Rip.
So now you've got it's. I love the way they did the multiple storylines going.
They did. I think there was 3 stories going on all at the same time. I think.
Well, you had Thanos' children. The guy.
Or 4 stories. You had Thor's story.
Thor's. You had the
Spider-Man, the Iron Man story.
Mm-hmm. And then you had the Captain America.
Captain America, and then you had what was part of it? I forget. Oh well.
Well,
I thought there was
the
a
whole
fourth
Vision
one.
and all that was all part of the Captain America.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, you're right.
Because he kind of fell in line with them.
Yeah, he ended up there.
Yeah. So. I love the way that they simultaneously had everything going at once.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the movie, and they did a pretty good job.
They did a really good
job
of balancing, so you weren't just too involved in one thing, and then they would give you just enough time to see what you needed to see, and then move to something else.
Yeah,
I
could see how this movie technically could come out into like a 4-part movie if they wanted to make it that way, but they're only doing it 2 parts. Right?
Yeah, the next part will be out next year, May 3rd, 2019.
I'm gonna go see it in IMAX with you that time.
Are you?
Yeah, I will. My daughter got bored halfway through the movie.
Did she?
Yeah. Oh, my neighbor's gonna race his car right in the middle of our show. I'm gonna yell at him. Should I yell at him? No. Anyways, back to the story.
We're talking about anyway. Tony Stark and his crew gets to the Titan. They're taking basically the fight to him. Meanwhile, you got the people on Earth trying to protect the other gem, what Vision has, and then you got, the other story. I think you got Thanos trying to find the Soul Stone,
right?
Which brings him to where the Guardians of the Galaxy meet him. Half the Guardians of the Galaxy with him, and half the other half's with Thor, who's trying to make a new weapon.
Yep.
Which we meet Peter Dinklage, obviously.
Yeah, which I thought was hilarious that they made him a giant.
That was pretty funny, actually.
I was just laughing my butt off.
I knew they had cast him, and my biggest thing was I thought he was going to be. There's a guy in the DC universe named Puck or Pip. Puck.
I think it's Puck.
Yeah, who was part of the Infinity Watch, which is Adam Warlock, Gamora, Puck, and what's his name that Batista plays?
Oh, I don't know. I know his name, but I'm really distracted by the guy in the race in his car. So if you're listening to this, write him a letter. I'll give you his address. It is 309 Timberwind Drive, Defuniak Springs, Florida. Write him a letter.
Don't you guys have some sort of housing agreement where you can't do that?
I wish we don't live in a homeowners association. I was thinking about starting one, just because of this guy. He does this all summer long. It's terrible. I'm gonna go talk to him after the show though, and make sure he doesn't do it again on Monday nights at 5:00. This will never happen again.
All right, I'll leave it in your hands.
Yes.
We'll just press on as much as we can here, I guess. Um, anyway, storylines going on. So you got Iron Man and them going through. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange with his time stone decides to go forward into time and realizes there's
14 million.
14 million outcomes,
And they only win one.
And they'll only win one outcome.
Yeah.
So, which leads me to believe when Thanos, when he ended up ultimately giving up the time stone to Thanos, which he does because Thanos kicks all their tail thanks to Star Lord.
Yes.
Star Lord screwed up, but we'll go back into that. But he ultimately ends up giving the time stone to Thanos to spare Tony Stark.
So maybe he saw that was the path to victory.
I think because there was a little period of time where they were trying to coming up with the plan, and he said there's 14,190 some thousand options, and they only win one. So I think he explained it to Tony, and that's why he gave up the time stone to Tony, saying, "Hey, this is what has to be done."
Yeah.
Or not to Tony, but to Thanos.
Thanos, yeah. But he said at the end of the movie,
he goes, "It's got to be done.
It had to be done."
Yeah. So I think he had already explained it to Tony, knowing what was going to happen.
Right.
So, in ultimately, there's the battle on Wakanda was awesome.
It was intense, and yeah. I don't know what those dog creature were.
They had said that what they were, but I can't remember now.
But those things were bad.
Ravagers or something like that. I can't remember what they were called. But ultimately, yeah, they were trying to protect the Vision, while Black Panther's sister tried to extract the gem from Vision.
Yes.
So they could try to destroy it.
Right, which they failed.
Which they did. But they had to basically fight all these creatures to do so, and it was just a massive battle. And just when they thought they were being overwhelmed, old Thor happens to show up, and which he's more powerful than ever.
Yeah, with his new axe.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, which turned out to be pretty sweet.
Yes, it was like lightning coming out of him, and it was amazing.
Yeah, he definitely.
He was beefed up.
Kicked some tail on that one.
Yeah, because he went through the crowd and he just like plowed over like hundreds of them just in one swoop through.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat how you give a little backstory to how Thor gives a little backstory on himself too.
Yeah,
like he's over 1,500 years old, and he's lost all these people, his family, and brothers, mothers, sisters, everybody. He lost everybody.
Yeah,
and even it showed him a little vulnerability. How he's just kind of tearing up and crying. Even at his worst moment, he was still pressing on.
Yep.
But it still wasn't enough in the end.
No, it wasn't.
So
it was not enough. Thanos does overcome. His people overcome. Well, Thanos eventually comes to the planet, comes to Earth, and
yeah, because he gets the final stone before he gets the mind gem from which is the actual final one he needs. But he does end up getting the soul stone, which I don't know if that whole little sequence. And it was funny. I never expected. Now, I heard rumors. They said a character will be returning in this one, but I never expected to see the Red Skull.
No, I didn't either.
In fact, we were sitting there and Chase pointed it out. He goes, "Man, that sounds like the guy from Captain America, the villain from Captain America." I said, "You mean Red Skull? No way." Sure enough. I was like, "Wow."
Yep.
That's crazy. But I did think it did show like that part where he's trying to get the Soul Stone, which in the Marvel Universe, supposedly the Soul Stone is supposed to be the most powerful one out of all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you could actually trap a soul inside there in the stone or whatever. And it's supposed to be able to control all the other stones from the inside out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I did think it was neat how when they talked about how a soul has to be sacrificed to gain a soul for a soul, basically, and it has to be some he loves. And she was like, and Gamora was with them, and how she's like, "Well, you never loved anybody," and how he was actually crying.
Yeah, he was crying.
He actually did really love Gamora,
Yeah, and the guy's like, the tears aren't for you, or aren't for him.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And then Thanos throws her ass over the cliff.
Yeah, he sacrifices Gamora to be able to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Which, if you remember later on, after he had snapped his fingers and it showed him in that other alternate plane, and the
Hmm.
little young Gamora asked him, she goes, "Did you do it?" And he said yes. And she says, "At what cost?" And he said, "Everything."
Yes.
So there's a lot of rumors going around saying that that's actually Gamora trapped in the Soul Stone, that she had to give up her soul to become the Soul Stone. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
So, does that play into the next movie? Who
Oh,
knows?
we'll have to see. I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna have lots of explaining to do into the next movie because
In the comic books, in the Infinity Watch, which again it's Drax the Destroyer, um,
yes,
Puck, Gamora, Adam Warlock. Um, I can't remember who the other one was. There's five of them in there. See, each one possesses a stone. Each one holds onto a stone. But now there's six stones. So there was always rumors of who held the sixth stone, and later on you find out it was Thanos holding the sixth stone. In the comic books, in the end, Thanos ends up, I guess, almost turning kind of good after he realizes what he did was just like kind of futile, like life was just going to keep going on.
yeah,
So he ends up like becoming good, and he holds onto one of the stones for Adam Warlock. In the comic books, Adam Warlock and Thanos were always mortal enemies. They were
okay,
always there. Each one was their counterpart. So I mean, they fought each other throughout comic books, but in this one, you obviously didn't see Adam Warlock. However, you did see him at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Well,
yes,
the cocoon, supposedly.
yeah.
Whether that comes into play in the Avengers, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the amount of people that they killed off in this, amount of Avengers they killed off in this is crazy.
They got rid of quite a bit. I was really surprised.
I was surprised they got rid of Spidey.
Yeah, that was a little tearjerker on my. I was like, no,
Not
no,
Spidey.
no. Especially the way he went too.
Yeah,
He's just like, I mean, he was like hugging on Nick Tony. He's like,
yeah.
Mr. Stark, I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And when Thanos finally achieved his goal, snapped his fingers. Again, a nod to the comic books. In the comic books, that's how he pretty much got rid of it. He just snapped his fingers. That was it. That was the all he did. Snapped his fingers. Half the universe was gone.
Yeah, I mean the amount of power that the man had to have in order to do that in those Infinity Gems is crazy.
Yeah.
Just a snap of the fingers and he can wipe out half the population of the universe.
Which, when he finally achieved that, he did that. They almost stopped him, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, what's his other daughter almost killed him.
Oh, Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, in the comic books, again, Nebula was the one that actually takes the gauntlet away from him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Again, how that's going to play, they're going to play it into the movie, I don't know.
I mean, with the people they killed off, I don't see them staying dead in the Marvel universe
No,
like in the because in the comic books they stay dead, right?
no. In the comic books, they come back out. They come back. In the Infinity Gauntlet series, when they finally get the gauntlet back, Adam Warlock takes the gauntlet. And he pretty much reverses everything that Thanos did.
Okay.
So it's basically like they went back to square one.
That's that. I was gonna say I wasn't familiar with it, but I figured with the time having a time gem or whatever time stone that they'd be able to go back in time and
You really
stop.
should read the 6-part series, man.
Man, it involves reading.
It's 6 parts. That's all it is. It's comic books, not even a big book.
Do you have it?
I do.
All right, I'll borrow it from you.
Yeah. But he when Adam Warlock gets the Infinity Gauntlet, he starts to go a little bit like mad
Oh, really?
power or mad with power. But then he ends up controlling himself because he's a higher being. So he ends up like controlling himself, and he does it, and he ends up reversing everything. Um, when he realizes we reversed everything, he goes, "Hey, I can do this. I can reverse it. I can make it better than it was before. I can do this. I can do that." And then they ended up talking to him, "Hey, you can't do this." So he finally comes to his senses. You're right. I can't. And he splits up. He destroys the gauntlet. Splits up the gems again. But the in like I said, I don't know if. And see, this also leads to like Are they going to do something in Infinity Watch? Are they going to split them up? Because, like I said, Drax and Gamora joined the Infinity Watch. Um,
Right.
that leave them from the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? There's so
Yeah.
many different options they can go with here. There's so many different things that way they can go.
What timeline are they going to use in the next Spider-Man movie?
That's true. The next Spider-Man is slated to come out next July.
Yeah.
But they will already have Infinity War or the next Marvel movie, Avengers
True.
movie out. But before the next Avengers movie on May 3rd, 2019, March 8th, you will see, I think, something alluding up to the next Avengers movie.
But Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel. Which,
Right.
if anyone stayed through the end credits,
I didn't, but I watched it.
they would have saw it.
Yes.
Got a little cameo from Maria Hill and Nick Fury.
Yeah, and just before Fury fades away into nothing, he gets a message off to Captain Marvel. Well, it shows a little symbol.
The symbol of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little nod to her. Now, I knew they said she would not be in this one at all.
Right.
But they never said nothing about the next one. So,
which they say, according, if you want a bad mama Gemma on your team, that Captain Marvel. I'm not familiar with Captain Marvel, but
she's pretty much one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
She inherited cosmic powers from an alien being, unlike, not like how what's his name did, the Green Lantern. It's not like that.
Oh, okay.
No, she's actually just cosmic powers, big powers.
Right.
So fast, strong. She can travel at light speed. She can do all kinds of stuff. So, but she gained cosmic powers from alien being and basically become a protector of the universe, pretty much. So,
well, that's cool.
Um,
Be interested to see that movie when it comes out. But...
Well, they've already started production on it. They've showed some. I've seen some screens from the movies already. It shows a young Nick Fury.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it shows Samuel Jackson with hair and without his eye patch.
What is her name? Daryl Carver? Diane Carver?
Carol Danvers.
Carrie Danvers. That's what her name is.
That's Carol the character. Danvers. She's being played by Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, yes.
Yeah, so, which ought to be really good. Lots more happened in the movie. There's so much to go into without. We could see.
We could be here all day, but I think 30 minutes of us rambling about Infinity War is almost good. We're still going to give you a little bit more. But what was your we said we liked the movie, but on a scale of 1 to 10, man, what did you think? I'm personally a 10. This movie was just freaking phenomenal. Dude.
I go with an 11, man.
11?
This movie is just outstanding.
Yeah.
It was the culmination of everything Marvel has done. And with this movie coming out, everything they did in the last 10 years fit perfect.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of Iron Man, Captain America, everything they've done. You're watching stuff in this movie. If you watch this movie, you're watching stuff in this movie, you're like, holy crap, I forgot all about that way back in Iron Man 2 or way back in the first Avengers or way back in, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The first Avengers came out in 2012. That was 6 years ago. That's when that came out.
Yeah.
6 years. And they're still giving nods to that movie.
Yeah, it's just, it was just a fantastic piece of writing on their part. I'm ecstatic about it.
The thing about it is
I want to go see it again.
I do too, actually. The thing about it is this movie, to have such the foresight and such the future prowess to be able to predict this outcome of this movie with all the other ones they did is just phenomenal. That's just a total homage to the writers of these movies.
What is there, 11 Marvel movies out there? 10?
11? We got Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, 2 Avengers movies, Black Panther, Ant-Man, 3 Thor movies. I think there's 14 or...
Really?
Yeah, there's Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
And they just all, literally, it's just like watching a giant mini-series unfold in front of you.
Yeah, it's just like once you see this movie, it's like the culmination of all the other movies. Like, oh, wow. Oh. Well, that makes... Oh, okay, yeah.
My oldest daughter wants to get into watching these movies, so we have to start over from scratch. And I know there's a couple writings out there that tell you what order to watch the movies in for
Yes,
story
I
mode.
think the first one you start with is, I want to say Captain America. I
Okay.
could be wrong. I think it was Captain America, then Iron Man. But again, I could be wrong. You'll have
I'm
to go
nodding
back
my
and
head, yes.
yeah, you have to go back and look at that again.
Yeah,
But
but
I actually wouldn't mind doing it myself, like start at the beginning.
yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
And I
start at the
will
beginning
definitely,
and
definitely be buying this movie when it comes out.
oh yeah, for sure.
This movie again, I just it's just absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal. This is the best. I mean, you talk about like, oh, this is the best Marvel movie. This is the best Marvel. This one right here, hands down, is probably the best Marvel
See, the
movie.
sad part about it, well, not a sad part, is the good part about this is pretty much every Marvel movie that is coming out, we're saying this is the best Marvel movie by far.
Which means they're just progressively getting
They're
better.
just getting better and better and better. I mean,
I think from what I was reading an article. They talked about when the next Avengers come out, which they're not even releasing the name of it. They're waiting till as late as they possibly
right,
can
because it's going to have spoilers in it.
in the name
Yeah,
itself.
in the
Yeah.
name, yeah.
I know rumors were it's going to be called Avengers Disassemble or something to that effect. But I think with the new Avengers movie coming out, the fourth one coming out next year, I think they're setting it up to be able to move on from these guys into a
New generation
new
of heroes.
generation of heroes.
I gotcha.
So I think you'll see something like where something will happen where maybe some people won't come back or something will happen or they'll come back and like I don't this isn't for me anymore or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, my my question is you got this gauntlet which only obviously someone with immense power can handle, right?
Right.
How? Who handles it?
Well, Carol Danvers. You said she's like super
She is.
alien
She
stud.
she probably could. Um, eh, and that's another thing too is like you're gonna see the Captain Marvel movie what 2 months before the fourth Avengers
Yeah.
movie.
Is it
That
gonna?
enough? Is that enough time to establish her as that much of a powerhouse? You know what
No.
I'm saying?
Will that movie end with her receiving a text message?
That's another thing. Too. Well, see, the movie itself is supposed to be based back in the '90s.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's she was where she gets her powers back in the '90s and stuff like that. So the movie itself is based back. The whole movie would be pretty much in the '90s, which I think you're right. I think it will allude up to you might see maybe an end credit or cutscene or something at the end
Yeah.
where she gets the text message or whatever, and she'll probably see people fading off by her or something, or she might be out in the middle of the universe somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think you will see something alluding up to that, and that will take you right into the Infinity War, or Avengers Part 4.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but I don't, again, I don't know. That's a lot to lay on a brand new character you're introducing.
Yeah,
You know what
it
I'm
is.
saying?
I get your point, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work. I know, and I think somewhere Tony Stark's going to play a huge role into it because I'm sure Doctor Strange told him what was going to happen with that one outcome. Just like we talked about earlier about how he gave him the time stone and he said it had to be done.
right.
You know, there's nothing else we could do. It had to be done. So again, I'm just with. And another thing too, are we going to see Adam Warlock? Are we going to, you know what I mean? I don't know. I know Marvel has got movies planned for up to the year 2025. They've already got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 slated to come out in the year 2020. So
Yeah.
something's going to happen.
Yeah, they're gonna have to bring these guys back.
Yeah.
But I think we rambled long enough, Chris.
I think we did too. It's again, like I said, we could talk for hours and hours and hours on this
If
stuff.
you listen to this and you didn't see the movie, go see the movie. I mean, just that. Go see the movie.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Best, probably, I don't know, one of the best movies I've seen in the last, I'd say almost last 10 years.
Yeah, easy. Easy, easy, easy. And remember, we're going to leave you on that, so don't get loaded.
Get reloaded.